Good morning, Flosstube. I'm Misty Purcell. Welcome to my channel. I am the designer and fabric dyer behind Luminous Fiber Arts. I hope you like my awesome new logo. Thank you, Kelly Stadola, for all of your amazing graphic design work. I absolutely love it. So that was something that I planned to have done, a new logo, for when I would go to market. And then when I found out I was going to market soon, the deadline for doing that sped up, and Kelly fit me in during the busy holiday season. And I just love the new logo, so I'm really excited about it. I forgot to say that today is December 21st, so I'm sneaking back in before Christmas. And hope you've been having a good couple of weeks. Thank you so much for all of your comments on my last video. Thank you to everyone who sent me Christmas wishes in case I didn't get a chance to get back, and thank you to those of you who sent cards and gifts. Let's see, if you would like to receive email updates when I have like a bunch of new charts or new fabric in the shop, I always link my newsletter below the video in the description box, so you're welcome to sign up, or you can send me your email with your first and last name and I can sign you up for the newsletter. I will be having an update with Fabric from Picture This Plus at the beginning of the year, so I'm excited about that. There was a lot of gingerbread in that order, and man, that's such an awesome color. I will keep my shop open over the holidays, and today will be the last day that I ship, however, and then I won't ship again until December 30th. So shipping will resume December 30th. So if you place your order today on the 21st, I will ship it tomorrow, the 22nd. And if you place it on the 22nd or after, then it will ship starting Monday, December 30th, just as a FYI. What else? I guess that's kind of it for announcements. Let's get into it. This is called the Crafty Free For All kind of extravaganza. So I mentioned in my last video that I'd been doing some stuff on Saturday. I think I mentioned anyway, when I showed the box, the cheese box with the snowman, that was like a Saturday project. So I started designating Saturdays the Crafty Free For All. And what that is for me is that's my one day that I don't have to work. And I can design if I want, or I can model stitch, but that's as much work as I can do. I can't put anything in inventory. I can't dye fabric. Try not to do any Spanish work. That's the other 6 days a week, all that other stuff. So it's a no guilt, no should crafting day. And I make a list of things that I either have been wanting to start or wanting to finish or wanting to work on. And then I just kind of, whatever mood strikes me, I work on. And I don't feel guilty. I'm not allowed to feel guilty. So that has been really fun. And it's also allowed me to get some things done. So that was how I got the cheese box snowman done. And that's the reason that I have all these things to show you. It's been really good. So I've stopped. I'm not sure how guilty I ever really felt about having a pile of unfinished things, but I gotta say I feel less guilty now because I'm doing a lot of my own model stitching, and so I don't have a lot of time at the moment to stitch other people's designs, but I can take like 3 hours on a Saturday and finish something that I stitched a while ago if I want to, and that's been really cool. So that pile that I had has been shrinking, and I've suddenly got all these things finished, and it feels like, I don't know, I'm super productive or something. So the first accomplishment of my Crafty Free For All is that the frame that I'd ordered for 'Tis the Season came, and I stretched it on a Saturday, took it in, and got it finished. So the 'Tis the Season sale started last year, Labor Day weekend. And the chart that we were stitching is from the book Home for the Holidays. The design was reprinted in this book. This is a really, really great book. I encourage you not to wait to get this book if you want it, because it's got so many good charts in it. So this is the design that we were stitching. And as per usual, I am bringing up the rear of any stitch along that I ever join. So I stitched this. I dyed my own fabric for this, but this was before I was dyeing with professional textile dyes or dyeing professionally. So I had a quilting fabric in my stash, which I forgot to grab to show you. And that was the color that I thought I wanted this fabric to be. It was a really pretty like light blue-green polka dot that looked a little grungy. So I tested my floss colors on it, they all looked good, and then I tried to dye a fabric that matched, and I was very successful, I think, in matching it, and I'm very happy with how my floss colors look. Now, depending on the light, you know, and how far away you are, the snowflakes don't show up as much, and I'm okay with that. I believe I used the called for floss for the white. You know, sometimes I really want white to show up. In this case, I was fine with it not showing up. I changed a couple of colors. I changed the red because the called for red, I don't remember if it was too pink or too orange, but it was a little too something for me. So this is Belle Soie Tulip instead. And then one of the greens in the leaves and the gold in the leaf, they were just colors that I couldn't get a hold of easily at the time, and so I found substitutes. So the bluer green here, I believe that's Green with Envy from Gentle Art, and then the gold, man, I love that gold, that's Whiskey from Weeks Dye Works. And everything else I believe was the called for floss. I love how this turned out. I was debating between kind of a silvery gold frame and this frame, but I liked how this frame warmed up the piece and pulled out the leaves. The silvery gold frame would have pulled out the snow more and been kind of a cooler look. And both would have been good, but this one I preferred slightly. What else can I say? Did I say this was 40 count? If not, this is 40 count. I got a little bored stitching it when everyone was stitching it, so I stopped, and I'm glad I did, because then when I picked it back up a year later and no one was really working on it anymore, I really enjoyed it and just took my time. So it made me so happy stitching it. I'm glad I finally did, because I had wanted to for a long time. I love how it looks, and it goes, I moved something on the hutch and now it goes kind of here on the hutch behind me. So I'm thrilled with how that turned out. And I re-dyed. I attempted to recreate that fabric, and I released it recently. It was called Jolly Green. Don't know when I'll have a chance to dye that color again, but I'll offer it again. It's a really nice color. Won't you caffeinate with me? These earrings are hand knit, but not by me. They're tiny. I would totally knit these. I just was given them, I think I got them at an exchange, a Christmas exchange for my shop, or my local shop. It seems like that's how I ended up with them. They're awesome. If I knew what the pattern was, I would totally knit them. So the next thing that I finished in my Crafty Free For All is a Christmas stocking. And I had woven, the last time that I wove, which was a while ago, like August or September of 2018. The last set of towels that I put in the shop, there was a towel that I had woven that had like 3 mistakes. And sometimes I would sell a towel with like 1 mistake if you wouldn't really see it, or maybe I would discount it if there were 2, but the 3, it was just too much and it was too obvious. And so like I just was like, well, I'll just keep this. And I didn't bother to hem it, I just figured I'd get around to it. And then probably December, I went to Lewisburg to the Street of Shops, and I came across this little stocking about this big, and they had taken an overshot woven piece of something, I don't know what, and they'd sewn it into a stocking, and I was like, oh my god, that's too cute. Let me go get it so you can see it. Okay, so this is it. Isn't that amazing? It's so sweet. So I don't know, this could have been like a woven placemat, or I don't know what. Presumably it was woven by a machine, not by a person. And they did not interface theirs, but my fabric that I had woven into that towel was thicker. Like the threads that I used. Yeah, I used a thicker yarn. Anyway, I copied this pattern, cut my stocking out, interfaced it, and then I did this like, I don't know, a couple days before Christmas or something, and then it just sat. And so one of my Saturday crafty free-for-alls was to finish this up. So this one, I took a piece of twill tape, sewed it into the stocking. I used one of my old buttons from my stash, and then I made these little tiny pom-poms out of alpaca yarn, and then I bought another like rusty star to stick on there. And I just love how it turned out. And I was able to get, I think, 5 of these out of the fabric. So I didn't finish them all, but they're just all sewn. And that felt really good to get one done, plus get the fabric cut out. And I have enough fabric left that I think I could maybe make 1 or 2 mittens. I drew my own like mitten template, so I might do that next year, not right now. So that was awesome. And it was a really cool like alternative use of my weaving and a good way to do something different with my towel that was ruined. I mean, I would have enjoyed using it anyway, but it's kind of cool to have something woven on my tree. So tiny stocking. We went to Mifflinburg to the Christkindl market, and there's a Weavers and Spinners Guild there that sets up during the market. So we went in to see them. We'd seen them last year, and watching one of the weavers, I really missed weaving. It just, you know, you can really get into kind of a zen meditative state as you're weaving, and the fabric is so pretty. So made me miss my loom a little bit. My room isn't really set up for weaving right now, so I don't think any weaving is going to happen anytime soon, and I'm trying to get ready for market, so once again, not really time for that, but maybe one of these crafty Saturdays I can measure out some yarn, or maybe in the summer, we will see. All right, I also knit some Christmas stockings. Back in the day, back like, I don't even know how many years ago, 7, 8 years ago, I got addicted to tiny Fair Isle things, and these stockings really caught my eye. So my knitting thankfully has come a long way since then, in 7 or 8 years. Or 9 years? I don't even know. It's been a long time. These were from Little Cotton Rabbits, and she made them a free pattern online. So they're Fair Isle stockings, and she knits them flat and seams them up. And I think I did that with one of these, or a couple of them, but I don't really like knitting Fair Isle flat. I like knitting it in the round. So luckily I came across someone on Ravelry who did modifications and explained them for how you could knit the pattern in the round. Got water too. And so I followed her instructions and made these, but I wasn't entirely happy with how my stitches looked, but I was also kind of newer to Fair Isle. Yeah, but I like these, and they remind me of my knitting journey. So after getting burned out on all the tiny knits from the tiny knit garland you can't see hanging up there, I couldn't knit any tiny knits for a while, but now the burning desire to do tiny knits has come back. So I picked that pattern back up, and I've made a couple modifications to it myself. So modifications on top of modifications, and knitted some tiny stockings, and I knit 4 of them. So here's the most recent one that I finished. And this one is using Malabrigo sock. It's so cute. And so my preference after these other ones I just showed you were knit on size 1. And I did some more size 1, and then I did size 0 as well. And I prefer the size 0 fabric slightly, so I'll be doing size 0 from now on. But they're really pretty and sweet. So that was a really fun project. I didn't end up putting a bell on this one, or a button. So that was awesome. And that was kind of it takes me about 4 hours or so to completely do one of these. And it was just kind of a fun thing to do, like in the car. It was a good project for, you know, doing something while I'm doing something else. At a Christmas party. I will link below the pattern in case you're looking for it, as well as the modifications in case you would like to find those as well. Then I finished up some cross stitch, which made me very happy. So I stitched this last year around this time. This is from Little House Needleworks. It's called Season's Greetings. I had loved it for a long time. And then, I don't know if it was because I saw Jerry Caudell stitching it, or if it was just, I don't know, it called to me. So I stitched this last year, and I couldn't count on the border, and I kept screwing it up. And I got so mad at one point that I almost threw it away, but then I was like, no, just, I mean, I think I actually did literally put it in the trash and then took it back out. Which I'm glad I did. And this is stitched on 32 count Sweet Pink, which was a color that I released last year around Christmas. I really like this color a lot. I think it's really fun for this design. And then I subbed some colors because I didn't have them. And Jerry stitches hers now without the border, and considering that I can't count the border, I would probably do that as well if I were to stitch more as gifts. But so I had this all stitched. Then one day in the summer, I actually finished the front, but didn't have the back finished or like anything glued together. So during my Crafty Saturday, last Saturday, I pulled out this mini pom-pom trim from Lady Dot. It's Brick House, which is like a new favorite color of mine. I really like Sizzle for more of a bright red, and for more of a dull red, I really like Brick House. And then the back, in case you're curious, this was a fabric that was in my stash. You can see there's a little line there. I couldn't quite get out of the fabric with my steam iron, but oh well. So I know everyone says that you should, you know, label your ornaments, and that's probably true. But then again, think about how much fun it will be for people of the future to investigate on the internet and try to figure out who stitched this. Let's give them something to do. What else can I say about this? It went together really fast. You know, as always, I'm indebted to Vanna Pfeiffer for her awesome finishing tutorials, without which none of this would be possible. And Teresa Manette for her framing or stretching tutorials. Same thing. So I love this. Super happy to have it finished. And then, not on a Crafty Free For All day, but yesterday, I was busy working. My last day was Monday, but I've been working so hard this week that I don't feel like I'm on break yet. Just trying to get a bunch of Spanish stuff ready before the holidays. But yesterday, during the day, I was like, I just need a break. I just need to do something for myself for a little bit. So I had been thinking about how I wanted to fully finish this for a while. I stitched this down here from Simply Red Ornaments by Imaginating. I stitched this last March. Took me about a week, and it was my first 40 count project. I stitched it on 40 count, one, because I wanted to try 40 count, and two, because these are kind of a larger ornament and I wanted them a little bit smaller. So I'd stitched this one. I thought I might stitch all of these. I wasn't sure. I know for sure that I will stitch the Santa. I just feel like I have to. The other ones I may not get to, but I was holding off on finishing it so I could finish them the same way. But then when I looked at it, I felt like this needed to be a circle, and I realized that probably none of these others are going to be a circle. Santa certainly is not. I don't think. Well, I mean, maybe he could be, but it just seemed unlikely. I guess I'd have to see once I finished him if he looked like he could be a circle. But this one to me said circle. And so I was just kind of like mulling that in the back of my mind for a while. And I knew which circle template to use. And so it was just a matter of time. So then the other day I took the time. This is stitched on 40 count, just a plain white Newcastle. So is Weigart. The other day I took the time to finish it, and I love it. So that was the biggest circle template I had in my Fiskars plastic templates. What can I say about this? Well, it's awesome. Here's the back. This fabric is awesome. I love red. Brick House trim again. Thanks, Vanna, for your tutorials. I tried some different bells. Silver looked the best. I'm just so happy to have this on the tree. I really love red and white designs. I've been thinking I need to do some designing with just red. So classic. I love red and white quilts too. So this is awesome, and I'm very happy, and I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying my tree this year. I didn't get a chance to put mine up last year, and I missed it. And having it up this year, I realized I didn't even know how much I missed it now that it's here again. And I just keep looking at all the handmade stuff on it and really enjoying it. Okay, that's all the Crafty Free For All stuff. I had one finished object that is not fully finished. And I mentioned this last time that I would probably be working on Santa rides for my December A Very Prairie Year sal, and I decided to do that. And I started this Santa riding the reindeer. And I decided to stitch it on a blue-green fabric. It was a solo, pretty close to the sea glass color that I offer. I had a solo piece of 46 count. I'd had to dye it a second time to get it dark enough. And so, you know, it's not quite the same as if I had only dyed it once. So, because these colors are very gray, and this is actually the brown here that looks brown. It's actually a gray. So if you pull all the floss colors, it's gray with grayed colors, and they're very pretty. The palette was pretty, but since I was using a warm colored fabric, it was not going to work, and I wanted something that looked a little bit more like the cover. So I pulled colors that I thought looked similar. That's just like a really fun exercise to do if you want to try that sometime. You know, just look at the colors on the cover of a design and pull some stuff from your stash that looks similar and try stitching with that for just, you know, something different. So I stitched that on 46 count, and I love it. So I changed all of the colors on this except for his skin color. That was the only thing I kept that was the same. I had a more yellow and light yellow color, and I just didn't like it, and my head kept telling me I needed to go more like golden brown, but just not too golden brown. And I really like the 430s range of DMC. So it's one of those colors. So this was really fun. It was a lot of stitching, I think. It seemed like it. I enjoyed stitching the vine part more than I thought. So, yeah. Awesome. And I was going to see if I could quickly finish this one, but it's not going to be I might have to make cording. Nothing in my trims was quite the right color. So I may have to make my own cording. So I don't think I'll have time to do that before Christmas this year. So this will be for later. And I'll stitch more from the series. But I'm cool with just like stitching 1 or 2 a year until I'm done, until I'm tired of it. That seems to be one of my preferred methods for stitching series, I think. It's just kind of slow snail pace. And on that note, let's talk about button up. I should say that the Very Prairie Year sal was an idea that Barbie Pedal Pusher had. She got in touch with Helen and I last year and suggested doing the sal, and so the 3 of us have hosted it this year. So thank you, Barbie, for coming up with that. Okay, so on to the other sal that I'm kind of woefully behind on. Last year at Christmas, on Christmas Day, Amy from Amy Loves Toads and Helen D and I hosted the button-up sal, and we all started it that day. It had just been reprinted last year, right around November. And they are both done, and I am not. Are we shocked? No. No, we are not shocked. That is par for the course. Okay, so let's look at it. I think I made a little progress. I hope I'm not showing you exactly the same thing I showed you last time, but honestly, I can't remember. Pretty sure I stitched a little bit. I think I just had like a lump of snow, and now my lump of snow is like turning into a snowman. So there you can see him. He's a big lump of snow with some snowflakes in the sky. So I'm almost done. I'm still not really feeling this one, but I'm gonna be trying to stitch on it on Christmas, I think. And it's not bad once I get into it. I don't know if it's just the white, but I think it really comes down to the same problem I was just talking about, which is that to me, each one of these is kind of a little finished. They're all like separate ornaments. And so I just kind of want to do one when I feel like it. And it might be like a 5-year project, but because it's all on one thing, I feel like I have to finish it, and I shouldn't take 5 years. So it's something about how they're all little separate scenes. It's a weird mind trick that my mind plays on me, where that's how I feel. But it's awesome. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And, you know, I don't know. I think that's, when I analyze myself, that's what I've come up with. Now I want to show you my from the archives. So I haven't done a from the archives in a while, and I really wanted to show this because I don't think I've ever shown it on my YouTube before. Last night, if you watched Gary and Vanna do their Fiverr Talk live on Friday night, they were talking about lavender and lace free ornaments, and I stitched one of those way back in my early stitching career, like somewhere between college and Pennsylvania. So like somewhere between 2003 and 2006, I at least started this, and I may not have completely finished it. I think I might have finished it once I moved to Pennsylvania, finished stitching it, but somewhere around there. Back at that time, the local needle workshop in Kalamazoo, one of them, had all of those free patterns stitched up kind of behind the counter, and they had like a red, sort of looked velvet, but it might have been just felt, red backgrounds behind the pieces, and they were just beautiful, and I always looked at them and loved them. So eventually I had her kit up for me the design, and I look at it now and I'm like, holy cow, like that was pretty ambitious. I don't even do some of this stuff now. So I'll show it to you. This is the angel from 1999. And so I stitched her, like I said, back in the early 2000s, but then I didn't fully finish her, and she'd been sitting in my stash until 2 years ago. So right before I started making Flosstube videos, that Christmas, and I don't think I showed this because I think I had just put it away. Now, this is 2 years ago of finishing, so my finishing is better, but this is still just an amazing piece. This is stitched over one on some kind of opalescent that I believe is something like a cotton. It doesn't look like Lugana or Linda or the other L one I'm forgetting right now. And this thing has like metallics, and it has beads, and it has whisper, like go me, go early 20-something me. And I actually, plus back stitching, but you know, whatever. I actually bought 2 pieces of fabric. I was going to stitch this twice. One's for my sister and one's for me, but I finished, you know, when I finally finished it, I'm like, I think this is going to be a one-off and it's going to be for me. I love you, sister, but I have to keep this. So like I said, it's that finished but not fully finished in my stash for a million years, and then I finally like plucked up the courage a couple years ago to finish it. And so I finished it down here. This is where the cording ends, and it was so obvious that I had to find something like this join. I had to cover it up, so that's my solution for covering it up. But it's such a beautiful, beautiful design. So this is a free pattern. This is the 1999 one. I'll link it to the website in case you feel like stitching it over one or not. But you can see that this is even over one. This is a relatively large piece, and I think I stitched it over one because either it said to, or you know, my shop owner at the time said that that's what they had done. Okay, that is that. So I talked my thoughts and plans. I think I'll do a video at the beginning of the year with a whip parade because everybody's doing them and they're fun. All of my whips though are pretty much like Halloween and fall, with the exception of a couple summer things. What are my plans? I had talked about doing a winter solstice start today. I feel like I'm not ready. I would like to dye some fabric for the project, possibly. I don't have one of the flosses that I thought I had, and I don't know why that's the case. I might want to do a different project or 2 projects. I don't know. And I'm also just in the middle of model stitching, and I feel like I need to focus on that for a little bit longer because I was stalled on a model that I was stitching. I thought I'd chosen the wrong fabric, which is how I had time to stitch the Santa Rides piece because I was like contemplating. But now that I'm back on track, I just changed a floss color and it was fine. I feel like I need to keep going on that because it's my last model for market, and that would be a good thing to have done. So I might move my winter solstice start to January 1st. I'm just gonna be chill about it and not worry. What I had been thinking I was going to start was Jolly Happy Soul. And I still want to, but I think I want to start it on a bit browner fabric. And I have some colors that were like, you know, test dyes that I might want to start working on. So I might do that. But I was also thinking, I've been seeing this pop up a couple times on my Instagram feed, The Color of Winter by the Blue Flower. Man, her stuff's beautiful. Like, Janine is such a good designer. That has been calling to me, and I don't have it, but I could get it and potentially start that in the winter. So those are a couple options. I'm not tying myself down. Honestly, my only plan is to survive market. Make it to market and survive market and have a good market, you know, like just have my designs done, that kind of thing. And then I can start thinking about what else to do. Yeah. So there aren't many plans at the moment. I just kind of need to get through the first quarter of 2020, and then I can assess where the rest of 2020 is going. Is that it? New in the shop. Let me tell you a couple things that are new in the shop. I have been eyeing a couple of these things for a while. So this spring snow, I think that is so pretty. And obviously, to me anyway, I think you could leave it up for quite a while because I think it does serve for winter and spring. That's lovely. So I had to get that for the shop. And then, as I said, Janine's amazing. So this was one of her new designs that I got in. I love, it looks like, I mean, it's probably snow, but it looks like frosting. It's so pretty. And I got some new Brenda Gervais in. It was like, you know, a box of Christmassy goodness. And there's other charts. And then this is another thing that I've been eyeing for a while. Oh, let me show you this too. The new Cricut collection. Such cute Christmas stuff. Look at that Scotty dog on the mitten. Ah, so cute. Okay, so these I've been looking at for a while, and I just can't resist them any longer, so I ordered them for the shop. So River Drift House has some awesome, awesome charts. Look at this Jane Austen sampler. Ah, so good. And look at the little sheep and the kitty. And then you've got J.A. So if you don't know, I'm a big Jane Austen fan. I used to fantasize about becoming the president of JASNA, the Jane Austen Society of North America, back in the early 2000s, in between undergrad and graduate school. I fantasized that one day I could become the president. Okay, this one, Paradise Found sampler. So cute. More sheep. Really, really beautiful. And then check out this reproduction sampler. Oh my gosh. Look at those colors. So I thought those were awesome. So that's what I got new in the shop. That's what I've been up to. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much for your friendship this year. Oh, I hit a couple milestones. So I reached 4,000 subscribers. So thank you. I will need to think of an awesome giveaway. And I'm coming up on my 2-year Flosstube anniversary, which I started doing floss tubes early January 2 years ago. So thank you for all of you who have been with me since the beginning, all of you who have joined in since then. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing couple of years doing these videos, and I wouldn't do them if it weren't for you. So I don't need to just talk to myself. I do that all the time. But I really appreciate you. So I'll be doing some kind of, I guess, combined giveaway. I don't know. I have to think it through a little bit first, but I'll let you know what I end up doing for the 2-year celebration. So thank you again. Wish you all the best. I hope you have a very stitchy holiday and a very stitchy new year. I will see you around the beginning of the year. Take care. Bye-bye.